That was weird. The default microphone switched to something else for some reason. Anyways, now I've had a week to cool off from the shenanigans that we were dealing with last week. We'll see how all this goes. That sounds unfortunate. I'm glad it's sounding better. I honestly can't really tell too much of a difference. Like, in the sound itself. I can tell you that my throat isn't getting sore anymore just from talking. I still have the sleeping issue though. Like yesterday. I can't sleep for like less than 10 hours right now. Yesterday I slept for 13 hours. Went to bed at 12 at midnight. Like, yeah, I'll wake up at 8. Get some stuff done before stream and stream. Instead, I slept until 1 p.m. So last night I went to bed at 9. I was only up for 8 hours, which is, you know, that's wonderful. And I woke up at like 7:30 or something. So I guess I just have to go to sleep super fucking early every night. So my the anxiety medication that I take every night, the Prozac, is very good at allowing me to shut down my own mind like that. But even that would have issues doing it by itself after being only awake for 8 hours. So I also then took two of my... I have Alka-Seltzer gummies, which are... you take it for like acid reflux, like after eating and stuff. And the gummies that I have are also infused with melatonin. So I essentially had two things helping me go to sleep. It worked. Somehow. Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, hell, a month ago, I could barely get more than like 6 hours of sleep. I'd sleep more than like 6 or 7 hours once a week. And then, after that build up for like 3 weeks, then there'd be like 3 days in a row that I'd sleep for like 10 hours. Because of exhaustion buildup, but... Anyways, hello everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful day. So I think Handdoom gave a pretty accurate recap of my reaction to the case last time. A lot of irritating things about this case. Lots of irritating things. Let's see what happens. Well, this isn't a great disguise for a 23-year-old. That's for damn sure. Like, he had to be like a Peaky Blinder, right? Look at that scar. Look at this. You don't get that from being a, what the fuck is their business? Yeah, meter mating. Oh, like Benjamin Button. I'm proud to be the company's East End branch investigator and meter money collection agent. Ultimate gas meters accept thrupenny bits? What's a thrupenny bit? Each coin given customers about 2 hours of gorgeous gas. And yet, the meter in Mr. Shampspeare's room didn't have a single coin in it. The meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with, though, and the collection agent has the only key. Somehow, he's using all the flaming gas he wants without paying a penny. If that's not thieving, what is? Thrupenny is 3 pence. They know 3 pence is quicker to say, right? One less syllable than thrupenny. All right, yeah. Enjoy the rest of Greatest Attorney Uno. English. That's a little different though, because you're talking about abbreviations and like saying a web address is World Wide Web dot blah blah blah. For some people would be confusing because you're not actually typing in World Wide Web. You're just typing in letters, like single letters. It's not exactly the same, but I get what you're saying. The Queen's English truly is beautiful. And the not English. Pray forgive the discourtesy. The irrelevance of this testimony caused me to turn to my hallowed chalice. So this is actually something most attorneys can relate to. The bullshit that I just heard caused me to go to alcohol. What do you mean by that remark, Lord Van Zieks? Did the mustachioed Nipponese poison the gangling excuse for an actor, or didn't he? That is all that should concern this court. And yet, now we must listen to this abhorrence. Clearly what separates the vast British Empire and your eastern island nation is more than geographical distance. But this could turn out to be crucial testimony. The cross-examination must go ahead. Do what you will. Lord Van Zieks appears to be in a violent mood. Yes, he does. Attempted poisoning and an incidence of gas theft with no supporting evidence. It's true that they would appear completely unrelated at first glance. But I wonder, the truth tends to be buried in the most unusual places. No. No, that's not true at all. The truth, it's uncommon that it's buried in unusual places. And the first step in uncovering it will be to establish just who and what this man really is. Although I suppose in this universe, it is, generally. To be completely fair. Because he has just enough force. It's good touch, really. Van Zieks would probably be an excellent basketball player or football quarterback. He put on just enough touch to make it so that the glass would break, but not enough so that the lamp would tip over. Excellent amount of touch on the part of Van Zieks. He really knows how to put the correct amount of force into his throws. But what do you mean by... So I'm curious, what do you mean by American accents? Because, like, even within America, there are different accents, right? Like, are you referring to, like, a specific type of dialect? Because that is interesting to me, that it is probably closer to the original or whatever. So does that mean you enter people's houses in order to empty their gas meters? That I do. I have to try to catch people when they're in. Then I ask permission to come inside and do my business. Does that mean you've been into Mr. Natsume's room before, as well as that as Mr. Shamsmear? Well, now, interesting you should bring that up, because I couldn't believe how little money was in his meter. I mean, how the pair of them survived the winter is beyond me, it really is. I mean, Mr. Natsume probably spends all his gas money on books. And then when he's finished reading them, he probably burns them for warmth. In that little room of his with all that flammable material, that would be really dumb. Like what you hear on TV? I see. I guess, isn't that closer to how I talk? Yeah. Because that's like how we are taught. We are all taught those rules. The same rules in our English. So even though we'll have different accents, we'll still try to pronounce the words in the same way, at least as insofar as whether there's any additional types of, whether there's an additional letter or lack of a letter, silent, that sort of thing. Mostly. That's interesting. Like, why? To be different? Like, fuck those guys. Let's sound different from them. You will kindly reiterate your statement about the gas meters themselves, Mr. Meterman. And not much to say, really, but as you wish. So all London houses that have a gas supply are fitted with these gas meters, are they? They're the latest model, the height of technology, developed by our company, Altamont Gas. Anyone who uses our gas will have one of these meters in their property, yes. So if a 3-pence coin gives 2 hours of gas, most people would use about 3 coins in a night? A bit more than that, usually, if they have both gas light and a gas stove, that is. Thinking about it, Soseki-san doesn't have a fireplace in that room of his, does he? Some people still choose to use candles, of course, until only have gas for heating. Ah, yes, I do remember seeing candles in Mr. Natsume's room, actually. Probably terrible strain for his eyesight. Now, how does the money in the meter get back to you at the gas company? Every 3 days, gasmen like me visit properties of the gas supply and empty the meter's coins. I must say, the design and manufacture of the new meter cost the company an awful lot of money. But happily, it did put a stop to people not paying their dues, for the most part. Ah, because they have to pay in advance, you mean? Yes, exactly right. Oh, excuse me. Now imagine Japanifornia's accent. I would imagine it's all over the fucking place. For us, it's not about north-south, it's east-west. Are considered the more urbanized centers, higher class accents, and everything in between is more country and lower class. Oh, you rock so hers. I'm so elite. Yeah, God. Is there? I don't feel like there is. I feel like Midwestern is considered just as unclassy and lacking of elegance as Southern accents are. I guess the difference would be that the East Coast, it doesn't extend through the entirety of the East Coast. Because it stops at, like, Virginia. Or I guess maybe more accurately, like, North Carolina. Whereas on the West Coast, it's the entirety of the coast. And I live in Wisconsin, so, I mean, our anecdotal experience isn't really good enough for any type of valid insight. I'm using more of a everywhere sort of thing. It depends. Some people say it's Virginia and not North Carolina. Some people say North Carolina. Because it's split up between, the North and South is still sort of split up between how the Civil War was split up. Way back in 1861. And then you have, like, Arizona, New Mexico aren't really, they're South, but they're not really considered South. They're considered the American Southwest, which is generally looked at wholly differently. And Texas is kind of a wild card. What do you think of Russian accent? I love Russian accent, personally. Even though I do bad one. Yeah, and that's why, because Virginia's kind of weird, right? I always thought Virginia was kind of interesting in that it seems both very much. So that makes sense. Oh yeah, I mean, it's funny trying to listen to people with. I love foreigners trying to sound American. It is hilarious to me. I never find it offensive. I only find it hilarious because hearing them fail is hysterical. West Virginia. Haha, that'll show them. Maryland's interesting though, because I feel like Maryland's generally considered to be a northern state. So all London houses that have a gas supply are fitted with these gas meters, are they? Wait, did I do this one already? Yeah. Sholmes kills Dumbledore with Rosebud. Boy, he sure does smack him over the head with that sled. Oh, that makes sense. I didn't know that. So that's why you would naturally forget about them in sentences, because in your language there is none. Super stereotypical cowboy accent? Yeah, that's what I want to hear. That's the type of shit I want to hear. That sounds awesome. That's weird. I don't think I knew that. So they were a slave state, but they were like, this civil war is probably a bad idea. Let's not do that. Or let's not secede from our country. That's kind of traitorous. Yeah, whoever's joining in excuse me, member stream next, we all have to talk in a cowboy accent. I bet somebody would have a better one. One of the international people would have a better one than I do. What, you mean in English? It's difficult to think about? That's because I feel like in Japanese, it's very... I feel like the structure of Japanese is a lot easier to follow. Whereas the structure of English gets... Hey, Keith. Back to student body, 3 months. Thank you so much. Boo work. Yay, Twain and Ace Attorney. Yay! What about that? Oh, that makes sense. I understand what you're saying. It's still though, to me, when I hear most of you guys talk, if you're like in voice chat, even when something like that happens, I feel like your English is still generally better than most Americans' English. Because you're still concentrating a lot more on the rules than we do in general. You got a deal there, partner. Oh, yeah. Them good old boys drinking whiskey. Raw whiskey, actually. Where's the alert? Yeah, it says 19 on the screen for me. It shouldn't have a cooldown. It's not even showing up in my Streamlabs thing. That shouldn't happen. Because, like, let's say I got a gift, like a 5-pack of gift subs. It would all fucking... The YouTube shouldn't be any different. Maybe it'll just take a while? I don't know. Thank you, Trep, for the 19 months. Much appreciated. Right, hold it! Out of interest, how long has this been going on?
Weeks and weeks. He's been pitching gas off us for ages.
You've examined the meter in Mr. Shanspears' room, I take it? Shanspears' room, I take it?
Naturally, we took it off the wall and went over it with a fine-tooth comb.
And found nothing suspicious at all, I presume?
No, I'm afraid we didn't. Which is exactly why I demanded a new type of meter to be produced. One with an indestructible lock. The Shanspears Special.
That sounds like it would have cost an awful lot of 3 penny pieces.
But even after all that, the rascal's meter was still empty. I'll never forget the humiliation when I opened up the money box and found it bare.
Thank you, Edgeworth. There we go. It just feels right. That's what most English in America is these days. What feels right to you? And again, for those that have missed me talking about this, there's a lot of language in law where that happens. Lawyers are probably even more so than like fiction writers, the #1 offenders in the nation at making up words out of thin air because they feel right in that situation to use. because reasons.
When I opened up the money, I said that already.
Wow, dude. Look at this. Does he have malaria? What is going on with his eyes? Big brown cat, that's a bear. No, what a bear is this big gray dog. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And look on his face, that smarmy smile of his. I pulled the meter straight off the wall and took it back to the office. But you know what? Nothing. Not a trace of it being jimmied or opened anywhere, not a single sign. And what's happened to my salary as a result? Down by 3 shillings a day, that's what.
A life-threatening situation in a number of ways. Incidentally, what became of that meter?
Nothing became of it. I've still got it.
Oh?
Right here.
No wonder they call you Meter Man.
I think it would be prudent for the court to sequester this item while the trial is ongoing.
That's a lot of, like, breaking up of the sentence. I have heard that this person, whom I have met before I went for a walk,
Definitely.
although at first glance, there doesn't appear to be anything unusual. Let's move this along, shall we? Continue with the testimony. Though I would say it is as much value as the contents of that meter. Oof! Alright, let's take a look at this thing. There's a lock. Padlock. Very sturdy padlock. Money box. Sealed with beeswax. Oh, maybe not. Oh, what's... You spotted something, Mr. Naruhodo? Just here. There's a little hole, do you see? Goodness, you're right. I wouldn't have noticed. It's not a very neat hole, is it? Not professionally made, I'd say. So you think it might have been opened up by Mr. Shamsmere? Possibly. It seems the people at Altamont Gas must have missed it. How? How? Their whole thing is that they're on this witch hunt against one dude. They get an entirely new model. They get it back, and they're like, oh, there's nothing in here. And they don't inspect the bottom of the box? Oh my god!
Well, it certainly seems to go all the way through to the inside. Yes, but there's no way a coin could fit through there. That's true, but even so, it seems shit. Something. Fuck, what'd she say? I have to see what she says. Seems more than a little suspicious. Oh, yeah, no shit. Okay. Can I just...
Objection!
Hey, Altamont, I'm afraid to say, you are all fucking terrible at your jobs! That this meter clearly does show signs of having been tampered with. What? Get away! I've been over and over that thing. Yeah, well, you know what? Your malaria or whatever the fuck that you're suffering from is obviously affecting your eyesight. Can you even see? What is up with this guy's eyes? Oh my god, it was terrifying. I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with it. In that case, what do you have to say about the small hole that's been made at the base of the coin box right underneath where all the coins would be going into, you fucking moron? Oh, what? You're right. You're quite right. There is a little hole there. The meters aren't supposed to have that. None of the others do. In other words, we can assume that Mr. Shamspeare secretly opened up this hole himself. Yes, I wouldn't be at all surprised, but why? Yeah, why? I mean, it's tiny. You couldn't get a farthing through that. Lady Altamont, I wonder if you could give the court some more details about your meter design. What sort of details? Well, what I'd specifically like to know is... How does the meter tell the difference between different coins? What do you mean? Oh, for example, if someone were to put in a 1 penny coin, that wouldn't work, presumably, would it? No, of course not. So, well, how does the meter know that the coin it's been fed is a 3 penny bit? Ah, I see what you're getting at now. The meter tells coins apart by their shape and size, which includes their thickness. A threepenny bit is about 3/4 of an inch in diameter, you see. Other coins just won't fit. I see. It's clearly been very well thought out. The witness will amend her formal testimony with that information, in case it is pertinent. As you wish, my lord.
Hold it!
But conversely then, it would seem that anything matching a 3-pence coin exactly in terms of diameter and thickness could equally well be used. Would that be true? Well, yes, in a way. The weight comes into it to a certain extent as well. We've thought of that though, anyway. If I find any fake coins inside the coin box when I empty the meter, the contract says the customer has to pay 100 times the amount they diddled. The amount they diddled is a fine. We live for moments like that, as Gasman do. Live for them. It would seem the gas company has thought of everything. Woohoo! Hooray for gas! Hooray for cash! Ultimate's on the way! It's quite enough of that. Remind me, how big are threepenny pence? Threepenny bits? About 3/4 of an inch across. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Is this 2 centimeters measurement significant? Or perhaps there's some other aspect of the meter's construction that we should be focusing on? I mean, he used the medallion, right? Like, that's... Yes, you may be right. Perhaps I should try a different tact here. Ask about whether the meter can be dismantled first. Delve deeper. How can the meter be dismantled? Dismantled? Yes, given that there are no signs of it having been forced, I'm wondering if perhaps, rather than being broken open, it might have been taken apart. Well, yes, that does make some sense. The padlocks are made by a first-class locksmith from the finest quality steel, and the meter box itself is made from plate steel as well, welded shut to ensure it can't be opened again. I can assure you it's quite impossible to dismantle it. Oh, yeah, nothing leaks from an ultimate meter, no coins, no gas, no nothing. I see. Oh, Lord. Good luck on your physics exam. The witness will amend her formal testimony with that information in case it is pertinent. As you wish, my lord.
Hold it!
Has anyone ever tried? Oh yeah, they tried, but they've all given up before long. After all, if they actually broke the meter, the company would be able to take legal action. Yes, that makes sense. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Is its welded steel construction significant? Or perhaps there's some other aspect of the meter's construction that we should be focusing on? Yeah, should we be right? Pressure. Oh, God damn it. Okay, so I gotta figure out... So I'm pretty sure it's the medallion that we are looking at here as what was used. Yeah. Reddish medallion. Yeah, let's go back to this one. Or do I have to find the red medallion first?
Objection!
Let me just confirm something here. The diameter and the thickness were to be correct. The meter would accept any object as if it were a threepenny bit. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. Well, by something of a coincidence, while we were investigating in Mr. Shamspeare's room, we found a particular item that matches the dimensions perfectly. Something the same size as a threepenny bit? What was it? The item in question is this. What? Have you been inhaling gas? That's a bar of soap. It certainly looks nothing like a threepenny bit, I must say. It's like I'm going to have to point out exactly what I mean here. What's so important about this bar of soap is this part here.
Got it!
Oh god, I need to brush up on my katakana. Is that Arubuka? Help me out, CJ. Bow? No. Ha! Okay. Oh, it's a circle, not a... I'm dumb. Welcome, Arupaka. Arupaka. Man, I'm so bad at katakana now. I like never use it anymore. Well, I don't use anything, but I don't read it as much. And then CJ just drops. Makes us all look bad. Thanks, CJ. Appreciate it. Yo, what's up, JMT? What's English? Igrisu? Or is that... Am I remembering that right? Yoroshiku. I got that part of your sentence. England is Igrisu. Okay. Thank you. That has actually been bothering me for like 15 years, and I never bothered to look it up, but every time I think about it, I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound right. It has something to do with English, but it isn't English. Okay. One mystery solved over the past 15 years. Excellent. You have to turn over the soap to see what I mean. Ah! Are you referring to that round depression in the middle of the soap there? Oh, it's fine. Don't feel the need to chat. I appreciate you lurkers all the same. I do a lot more lurking these days than I'm watching stream just because I'm normally doing other stuff. I don't want to feel obligated to talk. So I get it. I get it. That's right, a depression that's approximately 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Or in other words, almost exactly the same size as a threepenny bit. I have a hard time saying that word and following it up with bit. Get away! Get away. Does anyone here present have in their possession a threepenny bit? Quickly now, hand over your coins, ladies and gentlemen. This is how the court makes all their money. They like legally rob everybody during the hearing at some point when money comes up. No, not really. That's really funny though. I've never seen that happen. Does anybody have $1 that we can look at? Sounds rather like a highway robbery, doesn't it? Yeah, it does, Susato. Thank you. Yep, civil forfeiture. It's just that it's civil forfeiture in a way that nobody expected. Because all they're doing is attending a courtroom hearing. Because in theory, a civil forfeiture involves some sort of offense, right? There's no offense here other than just being present. Thanks to a kind member of the public in the gallery, I have here a threepenny bit. Now, to see if it fits. If the threepenny fits, you must acquit! So my dog ran away from me. My word, it couldn't be more snug. Yes, as I suspected. This, without a doubt, is a vital clue to explain how the Altamont Gas Company is being defrauded. Well, I don't believe it. Yeah, I guess so. She was like, civil forfeiture? Ruh-roh. So your assertion amounts to what? That some inferior bar of soap has a tentative connection to the theft of gas? Dude even criticizes the soap that people use in their home. Who looks at somebody else's bar of soap when they're at their home like, huh, inferior soap? What's this Evad? Couldn't afford the correct spelling of dove, could they? I'm so delightfully prejudicial! So it depends on how you went about it. In this case, he's defrauding. Because he's pretending like he is paying, but he isn't really. So I think that would be, like, the way he's doing it would be defraud. The expensive stuff is sometimes bad? Like, in what way? Like, it smells bad or, like, bad for you? Yes! The depression in the soap was clearly made by a threepenny bit. I must concur at least that pushing a coin with some force into a poor quality bar of soap such as this is a remarkably simple way of replicating the coin's shape. You could use, well, some melted wax or something to pour into the mold. You could make fake coins in no time. Whereas, like, stealing the gas would be like altering the flow of it so that when someone else is paying for it, you get the benefit when you are not supposed to. It's kind of like theft. Cable theft is when you get it spliced to your residence and the signal ends up going through the splicer to your residence. Even though it's not supposed to. Wait, you use bar soap for dishes? Well, that's one problem. I'm just talking about bar soap, not not like detergent. We are trying to find a way to link those two things together. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, that's fair. I've used some of what you were talking about before, based on your description. We've never used it because we've never had like scratchy exfoliating soap. In fact, now we almost exclusively use it's like the squirt foam or whatever, because we're lazy. This brings all the pieces of the puzzle together. It's the method Mr. Shamspear has been using to steal the gas. That's the missing link. And now, if I follow the chain of thought, it's going to bring me to a new explanation of what happened that nobody's considered yet. But this is all nonsense. If the man had been making fake coins, my worker here would have found them when he emptied the meter. Quite true, Lady Alpha. In absence of some black magic... They love using the term black magic in this series. That could make them disappear. What, like water? I see. That's what we're dealing with, is it? There's only one form of black magic that could cause the fake coins to disappear into thin air. There is one form of black magic that could cause the fake coins to disappear into thin air, yes. Exactly. And the meter here gives it away. What on earth? There are remnants of the magical method used visible on the gas meter taken from the victim's room. If that is your assertion, counsel, the defense will identify these remnants for the court at once. Where?
Got it!
So here's the issue that you're dealing with, is that you're trying to attack him on his credibility, which is a legitimate strategy. However, if you would need to go too far into something else in order to do it, at this point, Van Zeek's objection of relevance and waste of a court's time might be heeded by a judge. The other issue, and what I mean is that we essentially have to solve a case here in order to knock his credibility. And I don't think there's a lot of circumstances where a judge is going to allow that. Mostly because that's not the case that we're dealing with, and he's not going to be a trier of fact on something that's not in front of him, right? At least he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be. There are some judges that have no problem doing that, and they're wrong for doing so because that is not what they are supposed to do. I will not say exactly which instance I am talking about specifically. Just know that it is a relatively recent one that made me want to pull out of my hair, all of my hair, and backslap that judge into his own bench. We found this bar of soap at the scene of the crime, just outside the victim's window. Yes, that can happen, CJ. And what will end up happening is that the case will be adjourned until that issue is cleared up in the other pending case. That has happened before, yes.
Because again, unlike in this scenario, time limits are significantly wider in U.S. court. This was a real judge. This was not an AA judge.
Outside?
Yes, outside, where you yourself, Mr. Meterman, were loitering in the freezing winter air. That's where we found the soap.
I get it.
That's right. The answer, of course, is ice. Did you say ice? Mr. Shamspear has been leaving soaps like this outside his window each evening filled with water. After a night outside in the bitter cold, the water is completely frozen solid the next morning. Then he takes his fake coins of ice and feeds them into the gas meter, giving him light and warmth in spades. As his room becomes very comfortably warm, the ice, now inside the meter's coin box, melts. Turning back into water and draining harmlessly away through the small hole made in the underside of the meter. That is how, without leaving any evidence of his wrongdoing, this man has been stealing Altamont gas. Though, one thing I should point out here is we are not just simply attempting to discredit Shamspear. We are actually trying to somehow link the two situations to find out what actually happened, as opposed to we're just simply saying, well, he can't be trusted because of this. We're taking the next step here.
Just like that. So simply. Is he trying to make us look like idiots? He's been fooling us all with some bars of soap and some water.
That's right, madam.
I don't believe it. It can't be true. Do you have any idea how much money we spent to develop this new meter? And now you have the audacity to suggest that a bit of soap and some water can render it totally useless?
I'm fairly sure I didn't design it.
Evidence.
Sorry?
I want evidence. If you're going to stand there and tell me our meters are rubbish, I want to see proof. She's very good at enforcing accountability, isn't she?
Very well, Lady Altamont. You'd like evidence? I'll provide it.
What? Mr. Naruhodo, are you saying you do actually have evidence to support this theory?
I did notice a trace of something that bothered me a little at the time. I have a feeling that this theory we've come up with could now explain it. A piece of evidence that substantiates the theory about how Mr. Shamspear has been stealing gas is... I actually have no fucking idea. What he's referring to. I have to look over all the evidence again. Yeah, right, Rand? It was actually quite clever. Trace of something.
Take that!
This is a photograph of the scene at the point when the victim was discovered, taken by Inspector Gregson. As it clearly shows the remnants of the crime carried out. by Mr. Shamspear. What remnants? Here you can see the gas meter on the wall in Mr. Shamspear's room. Now, look closely at the floorboards directly underneath the meter.
What is that? Some kind of grubby stain? Almost certainly, it's a water stain resulting from the liquid that drained out of the hole made in the meter. Ah! That's gonna cause some water damage and rot. You should really put a bucket under there. If one coin gives around 2 hours of gas usage and the occupant was heating his room in all his waking hours, we can imagine he would have used around 10 of his fake coins each day. The melting ice inside the meter's coin box would have been dripping out almost constantly. Technically not his floor, but they could hold his security deposit for the damage that he has done. And demand more if he caused damage himself. Depending on the rental agreement. Forgot to give credits. Yep, he dies from fucking mold. Yeah, putting a container under there and then removing it could have helped his situation. Leaving a stain on the floor. This is awful. There's further evidence too. Mr. Shakespeare slumped over his table, apparently having consumed strychnine. Mr. Shakespeare slumped over his table, apparently having consumed strychnine. And right there next to him is a bar of soap, broken in half. You're right. It would appear to me then, counsel, that the man was eating the soap, was he? Pardon me for disagreeing with your lordship, but certainly not. He didn't beat around the bush about the bush there, did he? In truth, Mr. Shakespeare was found with a fork in his hand. A meal of soap is sounding increasingly likely, Lord Van Zeeks. Do you mean to say he was using that fork to... Yes. To extract a frozen coin from the bar of soap. Ah! But the bar broke in half. So perhaps it didn't go very well. Good gracious. Lord Van Zeeks! I was throwing my hand up in despair and happened to catch my hallowed bottle on the way. Pray forgive my maladroit mistake. That's an interesting word. Dude said he was like, oh, and his fingers just happened to catch and clamp upon the bottle and bring it up with his arm. Impressive. What is the meaning of this, counsel? Allow me to pose my learned friend a question. What exactly did you establish with your most recent cross-examination? Well? That Mr. William Shakespeare is a liar and a thief. In other words, that his testimony is unreliable. That's it! That's exactly it! Very well, let us assume the man is a liar. Now allow me to pose another question. What possible difference does that make? Well, we know that suicide can be discounted. Scotland Yard's investigation revealed no sign of another vessel that contained poison. And on the night in question, there were no visitors to the room except the accused. The young gasman's testimony, which we have no reason to doubt, has confirmed that. Furthermore, the only possible way the poison could have entered the victim's body is via the tea. The court has seen no evidence whatsoever that suggests otherwise. Even if William Shakespeare is the liar you claim him to be, these facts have been objectively established. There's no escaping it. Therefore, in light of these facts, the prosecution calls for immediate adjudication. You... What?! Order, order! Well, counsel, how does the defense respond? Mr. Naruto, what was the point of that last cross-examination? Did it actually get us anywhere? Or did it make no difference at all, like Lord Van Zeeks is saying? No, this isn't over. The defense will not rest. What? But, counsel, you successfully explained everything. You've identified and substantiated the unscrupulous method employed by Mr. Shamster to consume gas. What more is there to discuss? Lord Van Zeeks just highlighted 3 facts in order to make his point. But contrary to what he would have the court believe, not all of them have been objectively established at all. What are you trying to say, my Nipponese friend? At least one of those so-called facts is an assumption, made due to a lack of evidence. But the situation has changed now following the cross-examination of the latest witness to take the stand. Don't be absurd! What is this nonsense? Yes, when you bring everything we've learned so far together and consider it as a whole, it's clear. There's a question that we now need to reconsider, namely, I'm wondering if someone put in the poison from outside. In which case the poison wasn't in the tea. We've all been led to believe that the strychnine poison that afflicted Mr. Shamspear was in the tea brought to him by Mr. Natsume, but that's conjecture at best. The victim has testified that nothing else passed his lips that night. There is no other possibility. And since there was no trace of the tea left at the scene, it couldn't be tested for traces of the poison. As I said, the situation has changed because, in fact, some of Mr. Natsume's tea was left at the scene, and a particular piece of evidence proves it. A ludicrous claim! Scotland Yard detectives investigated the scene exhaustively. What evidence are you suggesting they missed? The defense has made a bold claim indeed. Very well, counsel. Present your proof. What evidence from the scene of the crime can tell us about the nature of the defendant's tea?
Take that!
Dude, there's fucking traces of the tea on the goddamn cup! Okay, so it's something else. Okay. Something else can tell us the nature of the tea. The nature of the... Please tell me...
Take that!
Okay. Thank God. Whew. I was about to be kind of upset.
and just how ludicrous that would have been. Okay. Okay. Let's get back. All right, so it's not the teacups. Wait.
Take that!
I was right. I just picked the wrong thing. Oh my god! Good gracious! The soap again? The same bar? Yes, that's right, my lord. It's just come back to me. Something about when we first found this bar of soap at the scene yesterday. Oh my god. It's more bars of soap. Soap? Bars of soap? Why are there bars of soap? Blah, 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 blah. I'm quite certain that when we originally stumbled upon the bars of soap, there was actually a frozen coin in each bar. So you discovered the gas thief's coin factory. Fascinating. In a way, yes, but there's more. The coins were found in the soap at the time. The coins we found in the soap at the time weren't normal ice. There was something strange about them, you mean? Exactly. Something very obviously strange. They were red. The ice was red? No! You mean... That's right. It's obvious to me now. The fake coins in the soap were made from frozen tea. What? That's fucking absurd. Well done, game. That's ridiculous. I would remind the court of a statement made by Mr. Natsume earlier in this trial. Ah, yes, I believe that there had been a snowfall that day. It was particularly cold. Sadly, on such occasions, the poorly constructed water mains in the East End are prone to freezing. So on the night in question, Mr. Shamspear, having no running water to use, was forced to use the tea brought by Mr. Natsume in order to make his fake coins. My word! He could have used pee. He very well could have. There were 2 bars of soap on the window ledge when my judicial assistant and I investigated the scene. That's right, and we only borrowed one of them. Which means that even as we speak, some of the defendant's tea is still present at the scene of the crime, frozen solid in a bar of soap outside Mr. Shamspear's window. Extraordinary! Earlier today, Inspector Gregson informed the court that if even one drop of the tea remained, Scotland Yard would be able to analyze it for poison. As such, we are now in a position to prove or disprove what has, until now, been mere conjecture. By finding out for sure whether or not Mr. Natsume's tea actually contained strychnine at all. Ah, you smug Nipponese! Well, that's the pot calling the kettle black. My lord, we cannot do the defendant the injustice of passing judgment now. The police should be dispatched to recover the remaining bar of soap from the scene at once. And the defense requests a thorough analysis of the frozen tea embedded in it, to determine whether or not it contains any poison. Bailiff! Bailiff! Instruct the police to attend to the scene at once. Yes, my lord. Understood.
It would seem we have no choice but to suspend these proceedings for the time being. I trust you have no objection, Lord Van Zeeks?
None, my lord.
Scotland Yard will recover the tea from the scene and carry out the requisite tests immediately. The trial will resume at the same hour tomorrow. Prosecution and defense may conduct further investigations as appropriate in the interim.
Yes, my lord. Well, managed to scrape through there somehow.
Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned until tomorrow.
Isn't this our first day 2 investigation? I also feel like I could not commit a crime without getting caught red-handed just right there, because somebody just happened to be... It's like playing Call of Duty. You get killed because somebody was awkwardly doing something that no person in their right mind was supposed to be doing, but they were just happened to be there, and you didn't expect them, and then you get caught or die in that case. Ooh, I made it back in one piece. Just... To be perfectly honest, I thought we were finished there for a while. Oh, I know. What a lot of close shaves. There's so many carriages on the streets of London. You're very nearly flattened several times. Oh, no. I didn't mean that. Yes, I know. It was a marvelous defense, Naruhodo-san. It really was. I was in awe of you. Oh, thank you. And now that your fervent exploits have won us some more precious investigation time, let's see if we can't find some new clues for court tomorrow. Yes, let's do that. Everything all right? I suppose. I still can't quite believe it. That's all. I'm here in England working as a lawyer in the Old Bailey buildings. The truth is, it shouldn't be me, should it? It should be him standing in my shoes. Oh. Rinosuke dealing with some imposter syndrome. I feel you, dude. It should be Kazuma. It was Kazuma-sama's wish that you follow him to Great Britain. Okay, yeah. It was Kazuma-sama's wish that you follow him to Great Britain and work alongside him. Yes, I mean, I never had the chance to ask him exactly why, but clearly I had a plan. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. I am now the CJ. Just out loud. And you're doing wonderfully, Naruhodo-san. I've no doubt that Kazuma-sama would say exactly the same if he were here with us. Thank you, Susato-san. Thank you. Get dunked, CJ. Oh, hello again, Inspector Gregson.
What are you doing here?
Well, you heard the judge literally tell us to continue investigating, didn't you? The fuck you think we're doing here, asshole? We were hoping to have another look around, actually. The lawyer representing the defendant has a right to examine the scene, as I'm sure you're aware.
Yeah, I know it's school. Then why the fuck did you ask me that? He's just an asshole. Oh, yes, one other thing. The soap on the ledge outside the window. Did you find it? With the tea in it? Yeah, we found it all right. There's a small amount of tea in it, as you said. I knew it. It's with the identification section at the yard now. They're looking into it. Results should be available later today. That's wonderful news. Thank you. Pretty impressive performance in court this morning. Sorry? Nothing. Forget it. Just make sure you don't disturb anything in here. No, remember the one brick can be, this brick can be removed. So they probably just put it back where it was. Okay. Still don't know what this is from. Look at these extravagant, bright costumes. Somehow they look out of place in this room with its grim, shady goings-on. This one looks like a king's attire. King? I've always dreamt of being a king. Wouldn't you have dreamt of being an emperor? Oh, I think you'd be more suited to a feudal lord. A daimyo, or such like. With a chonmage top knot? Every Japanese man wishes he had a chonmage. I don't. I'm not a Japanese man, to be fair. I'm just saying, the look, I don't think it's so great. Then again, I don't think the top man bun knot is very great either, so. I always hold people accountable for doing their job poorly, regardless of what instances might be driving them mentally insane, including this know-it-all detective who always destroys him and a 10-year-old girl who writes about him, thus manipulating his every move. What was a thing? Oh, you look wonderful with one. You already have the sword. Methinks, Susato might have a thing for chonmages. That's true. In this particular point in time, it is still a thing, yes. Can you imagine what would happen if I walked around the streets of London with the chonmage and a sword? There's not much on these shelves, is there? Just this wine glass and bottle. Both of them are cracked. Yes, not much use, are they? What's the matter? Oh, I was just reminded of the Reaper, that's all. Prosecutor Lord Van Zeeks? Yes, he's so reckless with his wine glasses. I was thinking it's a waste and that he should donate some to the needy. You can suggest it next time we meet. You're right! He's so reckless! Ah, the ill-fated teacups from which the two men drank on the ill-fated night. During their heated literary debate, yes. Who's stronger, Romeo or Juliet? Sounds like it was quite a discussion. Now I think of it, I'm sure that the two lovers in the play ended their lives with poison. That's fiction, Miss Susato. Let's hope it stays that way. So it turns out that Mr. Shamspeare wasn't eating the soap at all. That's right. The mystery of why he had it on a plate whilst holding a fork in his hand is solved. Yes, the prize is latest ice coin out of its mold. In the process, he accidentally broke the bar of soap in two. Certainly was hard to imagine, let alone deduce. If you ran out of change, you wouldn't even have a light, let alone heat. For the needy, London's winters can be very harsh. That's true, but if you think about it, even the wealthy would find themselves freezing if they ran out of small change. London's winters can be very harsh for the forgetful, too, then. Frankly, I'm starting to wonder if Susato-san and I are going to make it to spring. That's true. We don't even have a meter at Baker Street, let alone a gas stove.
I just assumed that they had gas that they just paid for.
Jujato.
Ryan Narhold.
Look how dark the stain on the floor is underneath the meter. Yes, from all the water dripping out after the ice coins melted as you established in court this morning. It's a very large and obvious stain, isn't it? Mr. Shamspear must have used an awful lot of ice coins, I suppose. It was an ingenious idea, I'll give him that. Are you looking for new clues, Inspector?
Well, no van seeks orders yet. He'll come back till you've got something for me, he says.
Oh dear, poor you.
Yeah, poor me. Because we've already searched every bleeding nook and cranny in this place. It has been done! Every crook and nanny has been searched. I don't know what he expects, to be honest. Thank goodness for warm chips is all I can say.
Well, at least he's honest.
Never-ending warm chips.
That is.
Congratulations!
Well done, CJ. I heard it, I'm like, there's no way CJ actually got that on the first try, right? It had to be somebody else. I don't think there's anything else in here. I mean, there's stuff in here, but not that we can... Oh, wait. The sun never shines in this room, thanks to that depressing bricked-up window.
Yet with enough determination, you can always remove the bricks to set some soap outside, can't you?
Sounds like a very wise life lesson, Miss Susato.
Only if you plan to follow a life of crime, Mr. Naruhodo.
And now, I think that was everything. Alright. Wait, hold on. This is already... Yep.
Sigarib appears to be out.
Oh well. Guess we'll just look over all of his shit then. Is this still fucked up? Jesus Christ. Fine. Fine!
Exception of the top floor, where Mr. and Mrs. Garrett live, all the windows are bricked up. Yes, that's because of no window tax that was changed on the number of windows a property had. Charged. In order to pay less tax, the poorer members of society filled in many of their windows. Tax has since been abolished, hasn't it? So the windows could all be opened up again, surely. Unfortunately, it would appear that the residents of this district can't afford to pay to have the work done. Yes, that is a sad state of affairs. Especially for people like poor Mr. Natsume, who have to live all cooped up in a windowless room. Suppose that's the price you pay for living in a very cheap accommodation. All seems rather pointless when you put it like that. Pretty sure she was sent to jail. Didn't what's-his-face talk about visiting her?
Oh, thank God. Thought I was gonna have to talk to him again. Okay, well, I assume... One thing I love about this track, it isn't even that the track itself is great. It's good. It's good, but it's not great. But it's great at the scene because the way the violin is prioritized, amplified, focused. It always feels like Sholmes is in the corner playing while I'm talking to Susie. Hey, Dreamer, thank you. I am still dealing with the fatigue.
Oh, Bruno, it's Susie! Hooray, you're back!
My sister did too. She sucked. I actually feel bad because I think me and my parents being annoyed with how bad she was probably discouraged her from practicing more. She could actually have become better.
Hello, Iris. You're in fine spirits as always, I see. I am! And you look as immaculately presented as ever, Susie.
Her voice is kind of hard to do for me right now. I can't get it high enough.
Oh, you flatter me. Well, you couldn't have come back at a better time. I just made a pot of tea. I'll set some cups. Really?
Really? Thanks, Iris. But actually...
That foul smell.
Aha! The Wanderers return at last! Where on earth have the pair of you been? We've been in court? Oh! For Mr. Mustache's case. That was today, was it?
I'm sure I mentioned it only yesterday, Mr. Sholmes.
I'm sure you think you did! Well, we can laugh about it now. Actually... Okay. Keep that in mind. Bruno and Susie, what's up? How you doing, men? I just made us a pot of tea. Sure it'll taste lovely.
So tell me, how did the trial go? Reasonably well so far. We've managed to escape without a guilty verdict, at least. Really? I would have liked to see it. And I must pass the time of day with Mr. Reaper again. It's been too long. Is Lord Van Zink's an acquaintance, Mr. Sholmes? Naturally. There's not a person in the world who doesn't know my name, Mr. Naruhodo. Doesn't mean they're all acquaintances. Not quite what I asked, but still. Mr. Sholmes? Whatever is that odor? Yes, what is it? It's faint, but absolutely awful. Ah, indeed. That's a sense of victory, my dear fellows. Victory in science. Oh, dear. All right, I'll bite. What's he up to now? Thank you, CJ, for the $5 in orange candy. Glad you had a moment to think about your incoming treat.
Enjoy, upside down smile. My wife's been nibbling on these when I've been around. That's harsh. It's not that. Oh, I can barely talk with this in my mouth. It's not that she likes orange. She just really likes sugar. And there hasn't been a lot of sugar in the house lately. So she'll resort to whatever is, and by any means necessary sort of thing. Oof.
Lord Baron von Zieks. Yes, it's an interesting sobriquet? Sobriquet? Sobriquet?
Who knows French?
Sobriquet? Yes, it's an interesting sobriquet, yes, isn't it? The Reaper of the Bailey. Once the legendary prosecutor has fought for someone's conviction, the person is doomed. Even if he or she is found not guilty by the courts. Sooner or later, the hapless soul will soon vanish from the capital. Vanish how exactly? By falling under a passing carriage, or drowning in the Thames.
6 pronunciation? Oh, God.
Or succumbing to a sudden fever, or, quite out of the blue, being set upon by a highwayman. There are numerous routes to one's final terminus, my dear fellow.
There are numerous routes. There are numerous routes to one's final terminus. That's right. Thames. The Thames. The Thames. Apologies, I usually have no reason to pronounce that word in everyday, conversation. How do you guys say that word? You guys say route or route? That one right there. That's an interesting one.
It all seems a little far-fetched, really. Blaming me because you people decided that TH would make a T sound.
Be mad at your silly way of using the English language, not me. Is it a matter of what feels right? Because I think that's how I do it.
Well, on the bright side, Mr. Mustache is fighting fit. For the time being, at least.
It's not overly reassuring.
If the rumors are true, though, the obvious conclusion would surely be that those acquitted are, well, by Lord Van Zeek's own hand.
As it happens, Mr. Sato, that is quite impossible.
Oh? Why?
Naturally, the man very quickly came under such suspicion. However, whenever these incidents occurred, the Reaper always had a cast iron alibi.
Really?
And so his reign continued. But 5 years ago, he vanished from the courts, never to appear as a prosecutor again, until recently. That's why you shouldn't say never to appear again. It's misleading. That is until you arrived in the country, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, so I've heard. In fact, it was the very day I arrived when I was thrust into that trial at the Old Bailey. Bitter fight to the death coincided with the Reaper's resurrection, and really did end bitterly indeed.
And here you are, facing Mr. Reaper again.
Poor Runo! I don't know if you're just incredibly unlucky or incredibly unlikable.
I think it goes deeper than just me. I sense a general loathing of all Japanese people.
With Mr. Natsume, who I'm currently defending, being Japanese as well as Mr. Sato and myself, I felt it even more keenly in court today. For some reason, Lord Van Zeek seems to have an inherent disdain of the Japanese.
Indeed. It is an interesting observation.
Also an obvious one. You know something about it? Do you, Mr. Sholmes?
It was about 10 years ago that Barak von Zeeks chose to enter the legal profession. However, before that time, the young man's closest companion hailed from the Empire of Japan.
No! What the? Tell us more, Mr. Sholmes. What happened?
I believe I've made it clear before. I'm unable to tell you anything about the affair.
Oh, but...
The veil will be lifted on the events of the past in due course, I have no doubt. For now, however, it is Mr. Mustache who is most deserving of your attention, I believe.
So, what is that indescribably bad smell?
Ah, well, most probably this, I would say.
What is that?
My dear fellow, it is, of course, my latest invention. The chemical test that can identify whether or not a tea is genuine at the drop of some tea.
Oh my.
There are some unscrupulous sorts manning the stalls along some of London's less frequented streets. They regularly sell what purports to be high-quality tea, but it is in fact merely dyed leaves of drab flavor.
Well, that's certainly unsavory behavior.
So, when one is presented with what appears to be black tea, one must be careful. Iris!
At the ready, Hurley!
Let us add a drop of my chemical to this cup of tea here. You see what happens?
It's turned completely black. And what a foul odor it's giving off. Indeed. The blacker the tea becomes and the more foul the odor, the better the tea it is. It would appear that this cup is a particularly fine Darjeeling.
That's very ingenious, but what do you do with that black liquid now?
Why, dispose of it, naturally. Surely you wouldn't like to drink it, would you?
There does seem to be a rather obvious problem with your new invention, Mr. Sholmes.
Hence why this chemical test is merely a test, my dear madam.
Right.
The point is, we are entering a new era of science. The world of criminal investigation, also.
Yes, forensic science. Oh, these are such exciting times.
I regularly engage in this scientific experimentation alongside my unofficial consulting detective work. The Sherlock Sholmes method will be the foundation upon which modern investigative technique is based. This little tea indicate was a happy byproduct of my ongoing forensic science research.
Forensic science? I suppose I should find out more about that. So, your t-tests, is that an example of forensic science?
Indeed it is. An essential tool in cases that hinge on the knowledge of whether some tea is of high or inferior quality.
Not a huge number of cases, then.
Perhaps a more practical example is required. Fingerprints? Not yet accepted in our courts as evidence, I might add. Really, we're dragging our heels there.
What I say? Law is always the slowest to adapt to fucking anything. I haven't even heard of them until recently.
Which is partly why I undertake research in this field myself, of course.
Does that mean you're studying fingerprints, Mr. Sholmes?
There are others in that field already, and I abhor the company of inferior minds.
Well, that's something. Holy shit.
No, what I am researching is skin prints.
Skin prints?
A nomenclature of my own design, as is this chemical agent that makes it possible. Instantly reveals subjects touched by whichever person is under investigation.
Brilliant, Mr. Sholmes. As long as it doesn't turn everything completely odorous and black.
I assure you, my dear fellows, you will witness my forensic talents in action very soon indeed.
Well, I think we should go back to the scene and see if we can uncover any new clues. That's the spirit, Bruno! See you later!
Yes, until later.
No, Mr. Sholmes, we were thinking you'd come with us.
You were?
Yes, of course. You said so just a moment ago. You said we'd witness your forensic talents in action.
Ah, yes, I do recall saying something along those lines. But you go on ahead. I shall be sure to follow you later, in all likelihood. Probably. Maybe. Well, I might.
Your commitment astounds me.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes. We'll eagerly await your arrival. Bye, Bruno. Bye, Susie.
I didn't even realize he was there. Mr. Sholmes, what are you up to over there?
What a question indeed. Was it not your good self who asked me to attend the scene? Oi! What are you doing here, Sholmes? What are you up to over there? What are you doing here? Dear me. Once a great detective, one is always under scrutiny, it seems.
Is now the time, Mr. Sholmes? Are you about to show us your forensic talents in action as you promised?
With the greatest of pleasure, my dear madam. What's all this? All this is precisely what you requested, Mr. Naruto. Sherlock Holmes' sensational skin print seeker gun. I would not want to be shot with that. Moments ago, I took a sample from the teacup that was used by the victim. Sample from Mr. Shamspeare's cup? Each individual leaves microscopic secretions on everything he or she touches. A sample of those secretions is all I need to produce this refined indicator solution. By liberally spraying the room with this chemical, everything the victim touched is instantly revealed with the aid of these goggles. Here, try them out. There. Now, spray the chemical indicator about and all will be revealed. Spray? How do I do that exactly? A little press of the space on the area you're interested in is all that's required. Like this. Alright, later, Trep. What is that stuff? It's like fog. The suspension of the chemical indicator in a pressurized gas. It's like the most efficient way to cover a large area. That was another invention I discovered incidentally while I was developing this idea. As you do. Go ahead, try it, my dear fellow. You may learn something interesting about the victim's movements on the night in question. Well, there's nothing to lose, I suppose. Let's explore. Oh, look at all this here. Oh yes, interesting. Why are there so many of them on the floor in this one spot? Oh, perhaps he had a bad fall just here? There's nothing obvious that he would have tripped over, though, is there? It could have been when they were wrestling or whatever. I wonder. Personally, I often stumble when there's nothing obvious to trip over. I think that's something only a great detective would do, Mr. Sholmes. Well, this is quite a puzzle. Handprints all over the floor. Yes, there's no obvious explanation. Okay, that one's a little weirder. Look, there are a dozen of handprints here. So there are, a great many indeed. So much so that it's hard to make out any one individual print, in fact. It sends a chill down my spine. Perhaps he was leaning against the wall while he admired this picture? Unlikely, I would say. It's a rather dull scene, after all. Now, wishing to state the obvious, you wouldn't generally admire a picture from such close quarters, I feel. Oh, very true, Miss Susato. It's a bit of a mystery, though. Well, we sprayed Mr. Sholmes' amazing skin print indicator all over this room, didn't we? We did, but there are two places in particular that of interest, I would say. Oh, shit. Oh, well, that's not good. The handprints on the floor here, and on the wall by the picture, you mean? Yes, and I think the floor warrants closer investigation. It won't be a moment. Ah! What is it, Miss Susato? Look here, Mr. Naruhodo. One of the floorboards has popped out. One of the... You mean... It's a secret hiding place?
Excellent work, Mr. Simon. So, what are we having? Oi! What are you lot doing? Inspector Gregson, stand aside right this minute. It's my job to investigate there. No need, Inspector. You continue to dig into your portion of chips whilst we dig around under the floor here. Your fancy talk's putting me off my food anyway, Sholmes. A new bit of evidence is exactly what I need. Wow, a secret hiding place under the floor. What a find. It's not a hiding place you could make use of in Japan. I don't think I could lift a straw tatami mat. No, I know, but I never expected one of these wooden floorboards to move either. It's got me wondering about the wall over there, too. Aren't you curious? Oh! I'll investigate at once. Be quiet this time. There's nothing behind the picture, sadly. Only the wall. How disappointing. But then, how do you explain the handprints? I really can't think why anyone would have been touching the wall over and over in one place like that. There you are. A print for you. Oh, thank you very much. His invention can make prints too. Now then, I wonder if Inspector Gregson has found anything under the floor there. I'm desperate to know. So am I. Love to know if there's anything hidden underneath the floorboards there. Allow me to ask Gregson now. After all, we're eloquent. Inspector Gregson, really, it's been too long. Have some fun. I don't know. God. I'd like to, but I just got hit with a wave of tiredness. What is it, Sholmes? I thought perhaps you might show me what you found there, seeing as we're such good friends. We're not friends. No, I suppose not. A dismal failure. Yes, I heard. I'd kill to know what was under the floor, that floorboard. Alright then, fair's fair. What? You did discover the hiding place after all. Suppose I should at least fill you in. Really? Really, Inspector? Thank you. Do it quickly, my dear fellow. There's one thing I know about this man. It's that he blows with the wind, as fickle as the weather. Oi, stop making me out to be some kind of nut. There are 3 items under the floor there. A newspaper clipping, a photographic print, and a tin box. Now, what do you want to know? Looks like this was cut out of the paper about 3 months ago. It's about a convict who got sick and died while he was serving time in Manchester. How terrible. It made the headlines down here in London as well. The bloke had been sentenced to death, you see, but nature got him first. Oh my goodness, he committed a capital offense? A man by the name of Selden. Nasty piece of work, into burglaries and murder. They say the hoard he knocked off was worth about £1,000. A hoard? Treasure, you mean? Jewelry and the like? But he'd hidden it somewhere, and no one knows where, and now he's dead. Papers loved it, of course. £1,000 lost en route to hell. Or some such was the headline. Does it not strike you, though? Why such an article would be so carefully ensconced under the floor? Suppose now you mention it, it does seem a bit odd. Perhaps I'll go over the paperwork We've got on Selden back at the yard and see if I can turn anything up.
You know, Gregson's theme's really growing on me. I think I might like it more than Gumshoe's theme now.
Which might be sacrilegious, I know. So, this is the photograph I found. Looks reasonably recent to me. Yes, it would appear to have been taken in the street in front of the house here. And the gentleman on the left is Mr. Garrideb, the landlord, of course. But who's the young man on the right? Mr. Garrideb's son, perhaps? Perhaps. You can take that print if you like. Really? Are you sure? We can presume, therefore, that the yard already knows the identity of the young fellow, that is. Ah, is that true? Well, it's too bad if we do. Unfortunately for you lot, leaking information isn't one of my pastimes. My dear Inspector, might I introduce you to the laws of discovery? The rules of discovery. My dear Inspector, if I may be so bold as to point something out. Pastimes are for one's leisure, but this is for work. Something! Ah! A dismal failure! Yes, I heard. Wonder why a photograph like this was hidden under the floor. Oh yes, with all that inflation. I mean, Mr. Shamspeare himself isn't in it. Photographic prints are still rare treasures in the East End. I imagine Mr. Garrideb was rather delighted to have been immortalized. He probably made a proud president of it. Now this tin box looks interesting, doesn't it? Might I suggest, Inspector, that you open it? You are to find something inside that reveals the truth behind this case. I wouldn't be in the least surprised. Yeah, funny enough, I've already had a look. It's completely empty. What? Shamspeare! Give us a clue, man! Didn't even have the chance to utter a word, Mr. Naruhodo. Anyway, at least we found out what's inside the box. Yes, thin air. It's empty, rather like how I feel inside. Nothing more in this box, then? I wonder. Oh, look! It's that lovely little kitty cat. Oh, what was its name? It's Mr. Natsume's, isn't it? I don't think we ever asked him, actually. Why don't we call it, Wagahai? You know, like Mr. Natsume refers to himself in Japanese. Oh, he got in here. Clever cat. Oh, wonderful. Well then, Wagahai. Here's something delicious I brought for you from the cat's meat man. Why did she have that on her? Did she expect to see the cat? I mean, maybe, since Natsume's in jail. Well, there were a few things to get angry at earlier in the stream. Hey, Tom. Hee, he couldn't be happier now, look. Over 120K, yeah? Yeah, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. I just hope we can bring some happiness to his owner, too. Oh, kitty. Oh, the kitty stretching. That's a cheeky little meow Wagahai. Oh, but he's so adorable. I could sit and watch him forever.
I think he may not appreciate that after a while, and we have an investigation to get back to. Don't worry. You're still number one. Still number one. Well, nothing here. Assuming, yeah, we can only use that gun when we told we can use that gun. Okay, nothing there. Okay, nothing here. What was the point of the cat coming out? Why are you still hunched over? They do the same thing. Yes. Yes, he is. Jesus. The only place we haven't been. What do you suppose is happening? Sounds like some sort of disturbance. Guess I hear angry voices. Be not angry, O ample lady. Verily thou art mistaken. I don't remember her voice. Wasn't it like really soft? Mistaken my foot. You were looking at my painting. The eye of a man hath not heard, the ear of man hath not seen. 'Twas foul indeed, the poison that mustached villain gaveth me. Forgive me, lady. I wish that you died from that poison. God a mercy, ample lady. But thou seest I have vigor still. Behold my sham spear dance.
Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, it was like Mikan's voice?
This looks rather ominous, doesn't it?
Ah! Ah!
Ah, lo, 'tis the lawyer from the land where riseth the sun.
How now? What are you doing here, Mr. Shamspear?
Mary, I do believe I am returned unto another ward. He was looking, that's what he was doing. Looking at my terrible work.
Eastern fellow, so dark you clad.
Faith, thy work in court this morning was wonderful. I do applaud thee.
Oh, well, thank you. But
that doesn't mean things will go so wonderfully for you tomorrow, does it?
Wow, good job restraightening that. This face. This is the face here. The face. Shamspear just seems like a worse, more simplistic character than what's-his-face at the end of the last game.
And on exit!
What was his real name? Egerton was the fake name, wasn't it? Whatever his real name was. Why his animations are so excessive? Well, because he's an excessive character. I guess I would expect his animations to be excessive. Ashley, that's right. Ashley Graydon. Mr. Shamspear might technically be the victim in this case. There's definitely a lot more to it than that. It's very hard to pin the man down.
I'm so sorry. I'm such an awful person.
Miss Green, is everything alright?
Oh, yes, I mean, don't worry about me. They're about to discharge me, so I must get ready to leave now.
Oh, I see. God, I just feel so bad for her existence.
We're delighted that she'll soon be well enough to go home, Miss Green. Oh dear, you're too kind. I don't deserve it.
Look, how can she support herself? You.
Ink a mouse, Mr. Narrator! An enormous mouse!
Vermin in a hospital? It doesn't seem the best.
Looks like a very healthy specimen, doesn't it? It's very plump.
I'm not sure we can say that's down to the excellence of this facility, if that's what you were thinking. Oh, he was a test? That makes sense. The evil garbage men. Tuesdays, you know. She must defend the castle. What? I think he's fine. I just think he's a less good, like, I see Graydon, and that's what I want from my over-the-top characters. Whereas Shamspear is a lot more basic. Like, he performs his role fine. Just, he's not super memorable for me.
Like a low B tier, probably. Oh, God. Oh, this is hitting me hard. This is so frustrating. So, in America, we actually have several different ways. We have bark, we have woof, we have rough. I feel like I'm missing one. Because roof, to me, is the one that sounds the most correct. At least for a howler like her. Arf! Arf! That's the one. Yip, yeah, because yip's for, like, smaller dogs, right? Well, the huskies they got their own magnificence that they deal with. Hey, hound dog! Hey, get in here. Can't still be there. What are you barking at? Exercise. Still barking at, huh? What are you barking at? Guard Twitter. Stretch those legs out. Stretch them. So where does it originate from? Or like, what was the purpose of it? It's especially weird because it's a word for something else too, right? Isn't that just confusing? Actually, now that you say it that way, that makes sense. So when I say bark, I'm not usually saying, I'm not trying to make the sound that the dog is making. I'm just trying to describe the action. I don't go bark, bark, bark. Some people do, but that's not how I use bark. Because I don't say the onomatopoeic versions I don't use to describe what they're doing. I don't say the dog is woofing, the dog is roughing. Those are just the noises itself. So it makes sense to have a word separate from the noises. So I guess that's why that word exists. For us, at least. Hey, let's dig in her shit right in front of her.
That must be a bag of Miss Green's personal belongings. She would have
been brought directly here after she was found stabbed on the pavement, though. Although I would be amused if somebody used them as words like that. The dog is arfing. I expect a friend or family member. I expect a friend or family member probably brought some things for her. All right, then let's see what's inside. Oh, we are actually digging through her shit right in front of her. Okay, change of clothes, no doubt, and no, Mr. Naruhodo, you must never scrutinize a young maiden's personal belongings. But the young maiden might have chocolates or biscuits or caramel. So, are you feeling more like yourself today, Miss Green?
I am, thank you. I mean, people do recover from ordeals like this, don't they? Even people like me.
Well, yes, it really was an ordeal, wasn't it?
As far as I was concerned, I was just walking along in the snow one evening, minding my own business. And then, completely out of the blue, I was struck in the back by a knife and collapsed unconscious for days. Well, of course, when I finally woke up again yesterday, the whole business had been cleared up already.
What a terrible week it's been for you.
Oh no, I'm sure I'm very lucky, really. I'll look back on this fondly. Can't you tell by my face?
Is an action in Bridge? Oh, that's interesting. I don't know anything about Bridge. Other than it's like, apparently a really interesting game. Really?
Anyway, I must be getting my things together now, so I'm ready to be discharged.
Oh yes, of course. Sorry to take up your time when you're obviously busy. But we're still gonna take up more of your time while you're obviously busy. Bottles, cabinets, hee-hee, patience. Let's look at your chart. Ah, this looks like the patient's treatment notes. This isn't illegal at all. Do not feed. What is this place, a zoo? You know, I seem to remember seeing an almost identical sign in our local park. The pigeons, yes. This is a person. Poor woman. I hope she hasn't read this. Yeah, so, sometimes it feels like a personal attack, doesn't it? This looks like the treatment notes for whoever's occupying this bed. Let's see. Do not permit to run around the hospital. Patient doesn't seem to be here at the moment, so he or she is probably running around the hospital then. Oh dear, how worrying. That's what's worrying is why they haven't discharged the patient yet. You know what's a great idea? Putting all the medications right above the patient's bed. I'm sure that didn't cause any sort of issues. Good God. Yo, what's up, Mr. Mingus? Hello, my fellow youths. Hello, my fellow kids. That's how I greet youngins. Hello, my fellow youths. They think I'm so cool. Cause I'm dressed like, what's his face? Buscemi. Oh, we can't look at it?
You can't look at it!
Well, they got shit else for us. Feeling that wasn't going to give me anything interesting. Did I miss something in her room? I don't think there's anything else here. Where haven't we been? Oh, wait. Sholmes isn't like randomly looking around here, is he? No. Oh, I wonder. Can we not flip this over? Natural causes? Sure, I bet. Can we show him anything? No, we can't. She doesn't... He's not giving much of a hint. I really want to talk to Mr. Garrett, but he's not... Not around. Yeah, okay. But... Wait, will they? Oh, okay, so I can't converse. Shit. Ah! I hope you're feeling all right. Jesus. Sounds awful. What am I missing? What am I missing? I must find what I am missing. I can't believe they won't let us, like, interact with this after that was the whole big scene that we witnessed. It doesn't do anything extra. We should be able to show her the picture. But they won't let us. I mean, she obviously knows who it is. Yeah, examine the rat. I don't know if it does something else after. I'm sure I'm missing something very small, and it's going to be very annoying to find out what it is. Do I have to? Okay. I guess there's one thing I know I haven't done for sure. Yeah, Cosmo was badass. I get it. I don't need to keep rehashing this every case.
Oh. Oh, shit. I forgot. Sometimes they actually show our hands. Karma? That's right. It's a prized sword that has been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. The Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. I can't be parted from my katana. What about Japanese males that don't have swords? Do we not have souls? Karuma guides me. I truly believe that. Though its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two, not that you would need much compelling. On that subject, there is something very important that I have to do in Great Britain. Something you have to do? Yes. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down.
What did he mean by something very important that I have to do?
I'd hoped the answer to that question would become apparent when we arrived here, but as yet I've not found a single clue.
I see.
I assume that's what we had to do. Sometimes you do have to talk to her in these situations, other times you don't. That's been the case for most Ace Attorney games, and it's annoying when you, like, I don't think they ever make it super explicit when you have to. Talked about going to see her. All right, now. Yeah, prison. Now we can go see Mr. Natsume. See, I disagree. What else would you put there in the commentary? Because that's literally what you do every time you, like, go back to your office. Like, what else would you say that wouldn't be clear there as to what you would do if you were in that place? So yeah, I don't think that the commentary was super helpful, because that's what it would say all the time, because that's literally what you do every time you are in your office.
Oh, Mr. Natsume is back.
So he is. Mr. Natsume, hello. If it did, I never noticed it because I never had to look at it. And that would be stupid, quite frankly, because that doesn't actually describe what you do at the office. It's just it doesn't change how inconsistent it is with sometimes you have to go back and talk, and other times you don't have to say a goddamn thing to her. And you just progress with the story. That's the inconsistency that I'm talking about. That doesn't actually change with anything you're saying. I am a cat. Okay. Sorry? I don't know who Mr. Natsume is, or Herlock Sholmes. I don't know about courts or trials or Old Baileys. I am a cat, that's what I am, just a cat.
Mr. Naruhodo is trying to escape from reality.
Trying to? He already has, completely. So, what is your name then? Yeah, but that's not nothing the game says. That's just something you've inferred from playing it. So to make it seem like it was obvious, I think is folly. So, what is your name then? As of yet, I have no name.
Mr. Naruhodo, he hasn't fully thought out his new identity yet. Maybe it's not too late to bring him back to reality.
You think you can open your eyes for us, Mr. Natsume? Oh, God. It makes him look all the worse when he then opens his eyes. I am not a cat.
It worked! He's back in the real world!
What's going to become of me? No! Don't answer that. It's obvious. My accursed soul's never going to escape this accursed fate.
Mr. Natsume, no! This morning's proceedings in court prove that there's hope!
Yes, yes. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire was brilliant, but... The Reaper is omnipresent, in court, in my lodgings. Here, there, everywhere. What's he looking straight at me for? Yeah, you CJ'd it. I think perhaps there are some things we should discuss. Oh, yes, yes, we must. He's one of those clients that I just never want to talk to. Yes, those clients exist in real life.
Judgment Night of...
That's how you spell it. Ah, and ironically, CJ is the one that spelled it correct. That did it correctly. In my whole life, have I ever been so moved as I was today? No. Of course, if I cast my mind back, there were perhaps one or two other occasions that moved me more. But if I just blocked those out, then today, being in that courtroom was the most moving experience of my life. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. You're too kind. I don't care. I actually do not care.
Scotland Yard found the remaining tea just as we deduced. They're analyzing it as we speak.
There's nothing wrong with that tea. They won't find a drop of poison in it. That's a solemn swarm Soseki certainty. No, actually, you didn't misspell the word. You spelled it, you didn't misspell it, but you also didn't spell it correctly. You can spell it either way is technically valid, but the way it's generally spelled in law is without the E, so that's what I go with. I think we talked about this on stream. I don't remember how long ago it was, though. It might have not even been an Ace Attorney stream. It might have been some other stream. And I also subscribe to the, less is more thing. Okay, I'm not going crazy then. Isn't that more character reversion from regression? Okay, that's the order that it was. Okay. Tell me, did you both drink the tea at the same time that night? Oh yes, most definitely. Remember, drink tea while it's hot. We both poured it down our throats like it was a hot bath for our bellies. At the time, you were both completely fine. As shown by the fact that he and Mr. Shamspeare then engaged in the Romeo and Juliet man. Those the focus of Morello's proceedings will be how the poison was taken by the victim then. Yes. That rotten Shamster, what have I ever done to him? You don't recall taking issue with him taking issue with you over anything you've done recently? Been holed up in my room, immersed in books. I don't recall anything at all. Right. What I don't understand is why you didn't let me know sooner.
You know what, Mr. Natsume?
About the soap, of course. What else?
Oh dear, are you struggling with such a meager stipend?
Of course I am. If I had money, I would have chosen to live in a cursed existence in such accursed lodgings. Yeah, you've talked about this already. Let's move it along here. It's because the place is cursed that it's so cheap. Yeah, we've actually talked about this several times at this point. Oh, wait. I actually did want to know that. Ah, yes. The spirit of that capital offender who lived there still haunts this place, and it's trying to kill me. Capital offender? The person that died to natural causes. Might I ask, locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, that the next time you visit me, you bring scores of super soft soaps? What's this? It's a newspaper cutting that we found in Mr. Shamspeare's room. Ah, so he knew, didn't he? Did he? Sorry? About this man, Selden. A convicted killer and the evil spirit behind the curse that afflicts my lodgings.
What?
He's already taken one young man's life, and now he's trying to take the life of another. A miserable mustached, much maligned Japanese man. This would not be the first time we've had a murderous ghost. Oh, Lord. Driver entitlement. Mr. Natsume, if you know something, please, you must tell us. Instead of telling us the same shit all over and over and over again. Tell us everything you can about this evil spirit. The truth is, I didn't know the details myself until very recently. That Selden man was arrested about a year ago. At the time, he was hiding out in lodgings at Mr. Garadev's house. What? He lived where you do now? That's right, yes, exactly where I live now. In my very room.
Oh my, your room was previously occupied by a criminal found guilty of a capital offense?
Before his sentence could be carried out, he died in prison. That was 3 months ago now. And that's when it started, the curse.
Really is this curse? What really is this curse you keep mentioning, Mr. Natsume?
It's already caused one death, a few months after the criminal passed away in prison. A man died in the room. The man who rented it after Selden, in fact. The poor lodger, he was found dead in mysterious circumstances. The room was, locked from the inside.
And this was never something you thought would be relevant to bring up until now.
I'm so irritated with this character. I'm so irritated with Natsume. I do not like his character. He's so goddamn annoying.
Locked from the inside, exactly like the case we're dealing with now. Why wasn't it brought up before? So that's the convict's curse, is it? Yes, well, that was the start of it. Like, he is actually the client I loathe, IRL. Like, the type of client I can't fucking stand. And so now I try my damnedest to make sure I don't ever represent people that are going to be that goddamn annoying in my screening process. Incorrect, Tom. You can attempt to screen it out beforehand so that you never have to work with it in the first place. Of course, the problem is that's not a foolproof method. But it is a way to sort of choose, make a hypothesis, an educated guess as to how that client's logic will work. The problem is that you're supposed to gain more patience over time because you deal with the same shit over and over again. You just kind of get used to it. That has not happened for me. I just get more annoyed. Right, you do what you can to you can do what you can within your skill set to avoid having to represent people like Natsume in the first place. And keep in mind too, I'm not talking about people that are being wrongfully charged with murder. That's not the type of person I deal with. We're talking about civil cases where somebody's gonna be a fucking annoying asshole. And their logic's gonna be trash. So it's a lot less tragic. Because their assholeness and terrible communication is probably what put them in the situation in the first place. Yeah, it can be. I guess one issue when you're in a rural area, the less densely populated your areas, the less you might be able to be choosy about your cases. So I would imagine that they'd have to take more cases available to them, and that would then lead to both more frustrating situations, but also probably funnier more hilarious situations too. Yeah, he's had nothing but shit clients. At least Phoenix didn't have, like, as annoying as Larry is, he's significantly better than Natsume is. Yeah, Gina. So it'd be 25% McGilded, 25% Gina, 50% Natsume, right? McGilded was cooperative, except he did it. Do we really consider that cooperative? Oh yeah, flashback. Yep, you're right. I would not categorize McGilded as cooperative. I would categorize him as a pleasant client, but not cooperative, because he lied. Exactly. Manipulation is not cooperation. That's a great way of putting it. Do you have any idea how the lodger before you passed away, Mr. Natsume? The official cause of death was asphyxia. When they discovered the body, the room was full of gas. Gas? I only found that out after I'd signed the lease. When Mr. Garrett came to tell me later, I couldn't stop myself trembling. In fact, if I had known beforehand, I'd probably have been too scared to take the room. So I think I called out what happened.
Well, I guess the thing I'm not sure about is who put the poison in. Did Shakespeare mean to poison it himself? But he ends up getting poisoned? That wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know. In fact, if I had known beforehand, I'd probably have been too scared to take the room. Landlord's lease, luckily legal. Luckily for Mr. Garrett, maybe. Not so lucky for poor Mr. Knotsmay. And now you believe this curse is affecting you? It is. At first, I just felt as though I was being watched all the time. That might be a different problem. And then you talked about having nightmares, didn't you? The dead are trying to take me with them. They come for me and try to suffocate me. Just when I'm struggling to breathe, I wake up. And the room is as cold as ice. But why is your room so cold? London winters are too cold to bear without any heating on overnight. For some reason, even though I light the stove before I climb into bed, the pilot light always goes out and the room fills with gas.
So, right, what he's actually feeling isn't some delusion of, like, being unable to breathe and stuff. There's actually gas filling up in his room. But that's terrible. It's exactly the same situation as what led to the previous occupant's death. And then there's what happened to Mr. Shakespeare last night, when he was mysteriously poisoned. There's clearly more to that incident than can be explained by a curse, though.
Whatever can be the cause of all these strange happenings in Mr. Garrett's rooms?
I don't understand why Mr. Garrett would be the one doing it. Although he does pay very close attention to all the gas usage. He'll join his wife in prison. Actually, is there anything else I should show him? Now will you tell me about this? Nope. Okay. Fair enough. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that this is the fucking flashback. Ugh. Yeah, obviously it wouldn't be Mr. Garrett because otherwise how could he have served in the on the jury at 1-5? I keep forgetting. Now we can go talk to Mr. Garrett. Ah, you're here now, Mr. Garrett.
Right, bally business it is for me, you know, getting out and about.
Were you at the Old Bailey by any chance?
Naturally, paid my lodgings hanging in the balance and all that. Not a trial to miss.
Fate of what's... Oh, God.
The fate of what's already been dubbed your haunted lodgings, yes. Of course, the place has caused quite a stir around the capital on more than one occasion already. As the old haunted lodgings or some such. Ah, well, at least he knows. Makes you wonder what the blazes is going on, don't you know?
When did you decide to come with us?
Yes, I'm sure it does. In fact, thinking back to Mr. Natsume's other trial just 2 days ago.
I think we were supposed to go to Natsume before we went to the, Oh, maybe not, actually. Maybe that's not how it was. Maybe we would have had to have... no, we had to, investigate the scene. Oh my god, my brain is all over the place right now. Alright, I might need to nap. Oh, God. I hate this.
You were at the Old Bailey then as well, weren't you? Testifying with your wife about what happened?
Stopped off at the prison on the way home, in fact. Beastly business.
I see.
So, what brings you to my haunted abode today, eh?
Oh, God. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to end for today. I'm just fucking exhausted. I still have an eye appointment later. Take a quick nap before that. Yeah, we'll end for today. I will be back with more of this on Friday. So mark your calendars for that. Hopefully we'll be able to go before. Ooh, excuse me. Oh my god. Full 4 hours. Yeah, thanks to CJ for the $5 and the orange candy. Those Keith and Trep for your re-ups and their memberships. Much appreciated. Yeah, we'll be back Friday. And we'll try to go as long as we can. Alright, everyone, thanks for watching, and we'll see you Friday. Please, until then, dreams adjourned.
Downhill, bitch. Oh my god.
Oh, fuck. Never